Yes, A-rated and X-rated drama to come in an hour after a top-class cook-off now on BBC Two, second semi-final for MasterChef.
It's the professional MasterChef semi-finals, and the remaining chefs have been split into pairs. First, they will be sent to work with some of the most inspirational chefs in the country.
The difference between a good dish and a bad dish is a pinch of salt, you know.
My standards of the kitchen are very high. Sometimes things try to slip through, but they won't get past me.
Then, they will cook off against each other for a place in the final week. Last night, sous chef Richard was knocked out when 27-year-old Jamie triumphed.
Well done. Thank you.
Tonight, the next pair will vie to stay in the competition. 25-year-old Sven and 26-year-old Scott, both sous chefs in London.
I really want to place in the final now. It's probably one of the biggest achievements ever.
Today's massive. It's the biggest day so far. It's also the most brutal. There's two of us cooking for one place, so it's going to be hard.
This is where they've really got to look at each other in the eyes and say, one of us is going home today. It's all or nothing.
It's early morning, and Sven and Scott are heading to London's Knightsbridge. They're about to enter the kitchen of a culinary three-star legend, Chef Pierre Koffman.
I decided to be a professional chef because deep down I thought I really enjoy food, you know. I'm quite a greedy person, you know. I've been a chef for 51 years. Half a century is a lot of time, yes. Hello, service!
Pierre was born in the southwest of France, but it was his decision to move to London aged 22 that set him on the path to greatness.
When I came to England, I was working for Gavroche restaurant. At the time, in 1970, I got to say, gastronomy in England was very, very, very poor. Gavroche was a bit special. He was a top restaurant in England.
In 1977, Koffman finally opened his own restaurant, La Tante Claire. It was to become one of the most influential restaurants in the world. He was awarded 3 Michelin stars and held them for an astonishing 15 years. It became the training ground for a generation of great chefs.
I had Marco Pierre White, Gordon Ramsay, Jason Atherton, Michel Roux. I cannot forget Tom Kitchen.
I can't put a limit on how much Pierre Koffman has influenced me as a chef. He put me through absolute hell and back. He pushed me to the limits. He took me from a boy to a man. I would not be the chef I am today without the guidance of Pierre Koffman.
At an age when most think of retiring, Pierre returned to open Pierre Koffman at the Berkeley Hotel, where he continues to teach the classic cooking skills that made his name.
In the kitchen, I'm very traditional, you know. I ban the timer and all those little machines to check the temperature. I want them to use their brain to check if it's cooked, not the timer. I'll always say to my chef, you know, the difference between a good dish and a bad dish is a pinch of salt, you know. In my kitchen when at Tante Claire, I used to be a very strict chef, you know. He was a rule and that was my rule. Now it's different, I'm a bit older, a more mellow attitude, you know. Up to a point, of course. Morning. How are you? You're smiling, it's good, yes. Yeah? Ready to work, you know?
Yes, chef.
Do not worry too much. I'm not going to shout too much, so don't worry. So what I expect to you is to be I like chefs who are fast, but at the same time, I want you to be very, very clean. I don't want to see any mess on your table, you know. That will be bad. Are you ready to work?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take you with me.
Working with Pierre Koffman is like one of the biggest things any chef could do. Actually getting to work with him is really rare and a special thing for your career. You'll always remember it.
I didn't feel nervous until just then. It's an amazing opportunity to be here, and hopefully I don't do anything stupid today.
During the lunchtime service, Sven will be responsible for the snail ravioli starter. Handmade snail and chicken ravioli, baguette toasted in garlic butter, topped with Bayonne ham, and finished with tomatoes and herbs.
It's a very popular dish, so you got to be ready. Maybe we'll sell 10 for lunch, so you are going to sweat a little bit on this one. You know?
Good, good.
I'm going to show you first how to make those ravioli.
Yep.
We got the snail, they've been pan-fried, flammed with a bit of brandy and pernod. The mix made with chicken breast, spices, and snail butter. And that's it. To make one ravioli, you take one snail, put it in the middle, fold it in two, squeeze as much air as you can out of it, and you fold it like that, like if you were a fashion designer, like something good, you know. Yeah. They go in the water for 4 minutes, and that's it. You take a saucepan, you put some of the consommé in it.
Yep.
We add some garlic butter. You incorporate it in it. You don't let it melt on top of it. It should be like a beurre blanc, you know? So it shouldn't be too thick, but not too thin. And you can leave it there. Huh?
Yep.
Bread is roasting in a garlic butter.
Yep.
So you start with your bread. Huh? Bread. Okay, that's ready.
Yep.
You roll them in the butter.
So just soft butter?
Yeah, just to give a shine on top of the ravioli. One there. Bayonne ham goes on top of the crouton.
Yep.
That's it. And the sauce goes on top of the ravioli. Tomato goes at the last minute, just to keep the nice color. Herbs go on top. And there, we put few pieces of garlic. And that's the finished dish, okay?
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
Confident?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good. Be honest.
Delicious. You get the saltiness from the ham.
Yeah.
And then the snails are very fragrant. You've got the garlic sauce. 4 minutes for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can keep my 4 minutes.
I'm sure I will, don't worry.
Delicious, really delicious.
The standards are obviously very high. Everything needs to be perfect, hot, delicious. I can do that.
Scott will be taking charge of the fish main course. Pan-fried sea bass, served with broccoli puree, garnished with roasted onion, and finished with a citrus sauce with tomatoes and chives.
You take the fish out of your dog. Yeah. You put it there. You season it on both sides. Yeah. A touch of oil. Yeah. And that goes there.
You cook it just on the skin side?
2/3 of the cooking time is on the skin, 1/3 on the flesh. Okay. The way to recognize when the fish is cooked is, you know, it changes color on the side. Yeah. It turns white. Yeah? You can see that? The skin should be slightly crispy. Yeah. And the fish just cooked, not overcooked. Yeah? It's cooked. Yeah. You take a piece of butter and you incorporate to the sauce.
Okay.
You never let it melt in it because it's not good. Eh?
Yeah.
That's ready.
Yeah.
You take your garnish. Once the garnish is in, you never boil it again. You leave it there.
Okay.
That's ready. Prepare your garnish. Broccoli puree. Before you send the sauce, you make sure.
Taste.
You test it.
Later.
I think you need a touch of salt.
Okay.
Test it again. It's important you test it 2 or 3 times, you know, to see what do you think. It's okay?
Yeah, I'd love, yeah.
The citrus go there.
Yeah.
We add a bit of chives for the color. Oh, and that's it, okay? I think if it's not like that, you know, I kill you.
Okay. Yes, chef.
If you want to see me in a bad mood, send the fish with overcooked.
Okay. Yeah, it looks a really nice dish. Just getting the flavors right, make sure the fish cooked right. If there's one little thing that's not right, then we're going to start again.
They seem to be a nice person. They want to do it very well. We'll see when they got the pressure of the service, you know. So now in the morning, everybody is smiling, and we are nice to each other, but during the service, it will be maybe a bit different.
Yeah, I can't really believe that I'm going to be standing next to Pierre Koffman in a second, cooking lunch with somebody. It's a bit surreal. It's exciting. Anything can happen with him, so it's good. It's good. Looking forward to service starting. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it now. I want to get going. I want to do the first one and get that out of the way with, so I know what I'm doing. First time's going to be a bit nervous, and then, but yeah, hopefully it'll be good service.
Service has begun. The first orders are in, and called by Pierre's head chef, Chris Lindsay.
Check on 2 snails, 1 crab small, 1 scallop small, to follow 3 steak, 1 sea bass.
Wait.
To add extra pressure, Sven's first plate is for critic Richard Vine, formerly of the world's 50 best restaurant guide, who happens to be dining today.
Okay, Sven, that table, you know, you got a famous critic on that table, Richard Vine. So make sure he's as good as...
Yes, chef. Heard of Richard Vine. Just another bit of pressure.
All right, main away 46, 3 steak, 1 sea bass. Start cooking 1 sea bass, please.
Now make sure it's enough oil. You know, I don't want the skin to stick.
Pierre doesn't have timers in his kitchen, so Scott's got to rely on his skills and senses to cook every fish to perfection.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to get the fish just right. Watch him cook it, and just start slowly and make sure I take my time and not too long and get it right.
Okay, then how long for that snail?
2 minutes, chef.
Remember to keep the bread going up.
Up, yes.
Give more volume to the
Oui, chef.
to the plate, eh? Try to make the ham to go around the bread, eh? I don't want the ham to cover the snail. No, not enough butter, a bit more butter. The sauce should be a bit more thicker, like what we call a beurre blanc, so it should coat a spoon, in fact. Leave the butter 1 second,
Yeah,
remove the ham, put them back under the salamander, quickly. Leave them for 10 seconds under the salamander.
With the sauce properly thickened and the plate still warm, Sven tries again.
The butter is not very nicely put around. Not good, not good. Where is the butter sauce? You know, I said the butter should be like that, okay?
Yes.
Around the plate. Yes, few herbs and we can go. Make sure the plate is clean.
Yes.
Okay, go, Igor. That's good for the first time.
Now I know, yeah.
Okay, okay. Quite pleased with the first plate, you know. You are under pressure there. He did quite well, you know. A little touch, but I was quite pleased.
I eat here quite a lot, actually, so I know how it should be, and this tastes as good as ever. The textures were very good, yeah. It could have been cooked by Pierre Koffman. I'm kind of hoping it was, but I think possibly not.
Hello for the sea bass, Scott.
1 minute, yeah.
1 minute, okay, we go. The skin is touching too early, so the skin move a little bit. It's just a little detail, but next time I hope it will be, the skin will be just flat on the fish. When you cook the fish, Scott, you know, once you put it on the plancha, you don't touch it until, you know, the two white lines appear on the fish.
Okay.
Don't go underneath with a spatula, because that's where you catch the skin and it moves, you know.
We share.
The restaurant is filling up, and the orders are flooding in.
Check on, 2 set prawn, 1 octopus. To follow, 2 sea bass, 2 set pork.
Ouais.
Starters on 25. That's 3 snails, please. Check on, 2 crabs small. To follow, 1 sea bass, 1 pork.
Ouais.
1 more sea bass out.
We've got 8 on it, isn't it?
Use the other side of the plancha.
Ouais. Ham first.
Oh, yes, thank you.
The sauce last. Oh, that's good sauce, I say.
We should.
It's plenty enough on this one, plenty enough.
Wait, 3 snails on the pass.
No problem. No problem.
Now that Pierre is happy with Sven's plates, he switches his attention to Scott.
Okay, start with your plate, your first 2. Scott, if you put one on one side, you put the same side both of them.
Okay, yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, just a little bit of sauce at the back. Okay, that's good. That's fine. The only thing, Scott, when you put your puree, make it just a bit nicer. You know, just,
Yes, chef.
maybe you can practice 1 or 2.
Scott is running out of chances to get the perfect plate past Pierre.
No, it's not good, Scott. That's not good. Put it there, and you go like that. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, one sea bass, Scott, huh? Hello, Igor.
Yeah, it takes a bit of practice to get the puree right. Every time it's going to be the same. This time I get a bit better swipe on the plate.
Service is drawing to a close. And Sven, on his last orders, is finishing the plating of 2 more snail dishes.
2 snails, 10 seconds.
Very good, Glenn. No problem. You can stay for the rest of the week.
2 sea bass, 1 pork.
Wait. Scott, wait. That's your last fish, so wait. Make sure he's perfect. Eh? That's okay. Okay, quickly, with saucer. Okay, those two can go. Thank you very much.
I had sea bass and it was lovely, cooked to perfection. I never usually eat the skin, but this time I couldn't resist. I loved it.
I ordered the snails ravioli and it was delicious. It smelt lovely, the presentation was amazing, and it tasted beautiful.
Okay, end of service, all done. Very well.
A lot of pressure to get a puree right and to get a fish right and get everything sorted out right, but no, he was happy with it, so I'm happy with it.
Okay, Sven, you can relax, it's finished now. You can smile again.
Good. I was smiling in the middle. It was good fun.
I think that both of them did quite well. I remember when I was young, you know, to move to a new job is not easy. I think Scott did very well because you got to be ready, you got the pressure, you never done it before. Only on one fish, you know, the skin was not stay in place, but that's because he makes the mistake to put the palette knife under the fish before he was cooked. I'm sure if he stays for longer, he can do a bit better, but I'm very pleased with the job, yes. Then he just arrived this morning. You show him how to do it, and he did it very well. I'm very pleased with both of them. Yes.
It's really good to see him walking up and down, doing the fast cooking himself, and obviously see how he does everything. He's got his eyes everywhere, see tiny little things out of place.
Although service is over, Sven and Scott's work is not. They have one final chance to cook for Pierre, recreating one of his groundbreaking 1970s signature dishes. Salmon, confit in goose fat, served with Bayonne ham, and resting on a piperade of tomatoes and green pepper.
Confit salmon is one of the few dishes I created in the late 70s, so I never had it seen before. You just want to be different, you know, so you try something new. I already did it in goose fat, and it should be at low temperature, not too high. Keep the temperature at 45, 50, don't go over 50.
And to make matters more difficult, they will have neither a timer nor a thermometer. Their only tool is a metal spike.
With a needle, you plunge the needle through the meat, and you got to feel it, you know, and you find the resistance on a fish is not cooked. But if you leave it too much, it will be overcooked and the fish will be dry. So that's the trick for the chef, will be that they got to control the cooking of the fish to perfection. The Bayonne ham should be cooked just quickly on the stove, still moist, and that's it. Both of them will have exactly the same ingredients, so it will be interesting to see if one of them can do something better or different at least. You learn all your life if you are a chef. So maybe I will learn something from them, yes.
It's a bit daunting because he knows he was the guy that invented this and it's his dish. I just want him to see that my knowledge of cooking fish is okay. You know?
Well, this is all about the cooking. Like, it's so simple. You just got to get it, nail it, get it perfect. Especially if you're cooking for him.
I suppose some chefs say, oh, it's a very easy dish, I can do that, it's no problem, and fine for them, you know, if they can do it. But I will expect those chefs to control it, and because I'm going to test it, I think. So if it's not good, I'm not going to touch it. So I hope they will be able to do it, yes.
A little bit nervous just to show him what I've created, but hope it's okay for him.
It's fine, it's okay. I find it look a bit mean, you know. There is a lot of empty space on the plate, but the fish by itself look to be properly cooked, moist, you know. Oh. A very nice piece of fish. It's very good, yeah. Done very well. Yeah. Good, good. The seasoning of the dish is perfect. The fish, absolutely perfect, you know, it's moist, you know. You can see a bit of the juice from the fish run on the plate, so that's the perfect sauce. The only thing you need is a piece of bread to clean the plate at the end, you know. The ham is nice, not overcooked, still very tender. I think for the first time you did a dish, you had no recipe, you just give you the ingredient and a very little explanation about it. So you did very well, yes, I'm very happy with the dish.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Well done.
It's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. Cooking a dish that Pierre Koffman created and serving it to him while he eats it and getting the feedback from him himself was crazy. It was amazing. And actually doing it well was even better.
I think my salmon might be a little bit overcooked, but we'll see when we cut into it. But I'm happy, I think. Tastes good.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Sweating?
Yeah, a little bit.
I notice you make a little quenelle with to put on the top. It's fine with me, don't worry. It's not a problem, you know. It's nice to be different, to add. I love when chefs, you know, add a little bit to make it even better than me. I'm very happy, you know. So you've done very well on that side, yes, very good. It's shiny, juicy, still very hot, very nice, very nice. He hasn't been overcooked. He's just on the verge of. Yeah. I think it was just time to remove it from the fat, you know. But it's still very good. If I was going to a restaurant, I would be very pleased to have it, you know. You've done a very good job. Okay, then. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was really good, really nerve-wracking. I didn't think I'd be that nervous. But it's Pierre Koffman, probably one of the greatest chefs the country's ever seen. You're sat next to him with a plate of food you've cooked. So, yeah, and he liked it, so that's good.
I think both of them did a good job. Sven, he was a very nice person to work with. He picked it very fast, so I was very pleased with his work, you know. Scott, he made a slight little mistake with the skin of one of the fish, but all his fish were left the kitchen in time. We never had to start another one. You know, overall, I cannot split them. You know, both of them, they done a very good job. I'm pleased with both of them.
It's a really good day. To cook for Pierre Koffman is one of the greatest things I'll ever do, probably. Proud of myself. And, yeah, it was amazing.
Really inspirational. I think working here today has just cemented what I thought before about cooking. You don't need a water bath, you don't need a chemical. As long as it's delicious, that's what it's all about.
Some of the things I've struggled on, but I'm hoping to bring it back today. I don't want it to end. Not like this.
Today is the day that you need to impress the judges. It's going to be a big challenge. So it's intense, the most intense one yet.
Chefs, you've experienced cooking at the highest level. We now want to see what you've learnt and what you're going to cook for us today.
Chefs, you've just been cooking with Pierre, an absolute legend. And I want to see some of that fire in that kitchen, that inspiration in your dishes today.
Chefs, you're going to be cooking 2 dishes, a main course and a dessert.
Guys, this is it. 1 hour, 45 minutes. Let's cook. Scott, for me, has got to really raise his game here today. He's not quite lived up to his first amazing dish for me.
He has struggled in a few areas, but he's also surprised us. I just hope now he's inspired because he's in a tough competition standing in front of Sven.
After doing this competition, I think I realised that I want to be at the top. I think working with these other chefs at here, I think I surprised myself that there is a lot of potential in myself, and I always want to achieve. I always set my goals high. Once you stop pushing yourself, then you're not achieving.
Scott, so how was it working with Chef Pierre Koffman?
Probably the best day of my life so far. Really inspirational chef. Apart from working with you two. But no, such an amazing guy. Obviously working for a chef of that standard, you know, he doesn't let anything slip, and he taught me yesterday to believe in yourself a bit more.
So how's that inspired you for today?
I'm doing squab pigeon, the breasts in the water bath. Gonna roast the legs and braise them and do a pastilla with some ras al hanout spices. And then beetroot and apple textures on the plate with a little bit of just a light sauce. And then I'm going to do white chocolate panna cotta and then an elderflower jelly on the top. So when you eat it, you get the 2 flavours together.
Served with?
An elderflower sorbet. Right. And pistachio cake.
Scott, I've never heard you talk so openly and passionately about food. You seem very inspired.
Today I came with a plan today. I think that's why I lost myself on certain rounds. The first round I came in, I had a plan. I stuck with my plan, and it worked well. And then since then, I think I've lost my track a little bit. I've just lost focus and tried to do too much at once, and I realised that when I stick with a plan, it works well.
And that's what you're going to do today?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfection, like you cooked for Pierre.
I will do.
Wow. What has happened to Scott? One day in Pierre Koffman's kitchen, and it's like talking to a new chef.
His eyes are lighting up, and it's all about what he's making here today, which is a squab pigeon.
But he's doing something that Pierre Koffman would not approve of. He's taken the breasts off the bone, he's taken the legs off the bone. He's put them into a sous vide bag, and he's going to put them in the water bath. Sous vide cookery, as you know, is safe. It will cook the meat to perfection, but what you are missing is the carcass and the flavour of roasting on the bone that you will not get in a sous vide bag. Maybe the sauce is going to have all of the flavour of the pigeon.
I love the fact he's taken the carcass and the bones and he's putting it in a pressure cooker to really get a lot of flavour in his sauce, because all of this, I think the sauce is what's going to bring it together. He's serving it with a pastilla, or a crispy pancake filled with some shredded meat, flavoured with ras al hanout. Ras al hanout is a spice with rose petals, I think the right amount of this can work very well in a pastilla. Too much of that could ruin this for him.
He's doing pickled beetroot, he's doing a puree. I love beetroot and it goes very, very well with pigeon. So does apple. I like the idea of the acid of the apple cutting through the richness of the pigeon and the pigeon sauce. I like those flavours. They do work together.
So Scott's making a white chocolate panna cotta with an elderflower jelly and a pistachio cake.
Panna cotta is generally a light dessert. It's a milk flavoured, scented with something and set with gelatine. Adding the white chocolate is going to add a little bit of density to it. Balance has to be right, and I just hope there's not too much chocolate because it'll make it too sweet and too heavy.
Elderflower jelly, love the sounds of it. He needs a bit of texture, so he's got pistachio cake. I've had some wonderful pistachio cakes over the years. I hope Scott will be as good, if not better.
The feedback that I want to hear from Marcus and Monica is like, wow, in a good way. That the flavours stand out, the textures and everything stand out, and that it's a good plate of food. No, not just a good plate of food, a great plate of food. That's what I'm looking forward to today.
Chefs, you've got 40 minutes left.
I have been really impressed by Sven's cooking throughout the competition.
He is classically trained, but he also has a creative brain.
And I like the way he takes on board everything we've said to him and becomes a stronger chef throughout.
Classically trained, going to Pierre Koffman's kitchen, that's only going to light his fire. If he can just bring some imagination into the kitchen today, with that classical training, Sven's going to be a tough, tough contestant to beat.
If I get through today, it'll be amazing. But if I don't cook and produce the food that I know I can today, then I definitely won't be happy. But I don't want to think about it too much, freak myself out.
What two courses are you cooking them?
For my main course, I'm going to do squab pigeon with salt-baked turnips and lovage, and a sauce thickened with its innards. And the dessert, I'm basically doing my take on a classic Gâteau Paris Brest.
Your take on a classic dessert?
Well, obviously, Gâteau Paris Brest is like a cake,
Yeah.
so I'm going to change it, adapt it slightly for a plated dessert, because the flavours for me, something delicious, and it's kind of a nod to classic cookery, traditional techniques.
It's such a classic dessert, one of my favourites. Love a great choux pastry when it's been made well. Yeah, I like to see the twist that you're going to put on this particular dessert. It's intriguing.
Scott's a great cook, and that's why I need to cook really well today.
What's going to make your pigeon better than Scott's?
It's just personal taste. This is, for me, I chose this dish because I think it's the best dish with a pigeon. Hopefully you can see why I think mine is the best. It's just personal interpretation. Everyone has different tastes.
This is the battle of the pigeons, the squab pigeons, so come on.
Great, giant squabble.
Exactly that.
Sven had spent a whole service cooking under Pierre Koffman's watchful eye. We both know that's not an easy thing to do. If anything, it's really enthused Sven's love of classic cooking techniques.
Sven's main course is squab pigeon.
He's cooking it the classic way, roasting it on the crown. There's not a water bath anywhere near this chef.
The carcass has an amazing amount of flavour. It also helps to keep it nice and moist and stops it from overcooking. Notice that he's also taking off the legs, cooking those en confit, which is a really good idea. It's going to be a beautiful, long presentation of the leg. I love confit leg of pigeon. It works really, really well. He's going to be serving that with salt-baked turnips.
These are all wonderful techniques that we know work. With Sven, he always has a little twist, whether it be in the presentation or an extra kick of flavour in his food, and that's what I want to see today.
That sauce sounds delicious. I really, really like his idea of chopping up the innards of the bird and using it in the sauce. Great flavour. The sauce has to be at the right temperature, gently monte in so that the innards stay nice and soft. And they're there to thicken the sauce rather than become grainy bits of meat in the sauce.
Obviously, the cooking of the pigeon, I'm roasting it on the crown, traditionally. I'm not using a water bath, so I want them to see that I can cook a pigeon. So getting those little things right is where it matters for this dish. I am capable of doing it, it's whether I actually do it today. It's got to be perfect. Put myself under pressure.
Another nod to Sven's classic cookery. He's making a dessert, which is a Paris-Brest. It's named after the race from Paris to Brest. It's a big round gâteau made from choux pastry with a crème patisserie feeling inside.
I like the fact that he's trying something different. It's classic, but he's going to put his twist on it. That is what we are looking for in a chef.
Guys, you've only got 5 minutes left. Make sure you've got everything ready to go.
Today, it's all about 2 different cooking techniques of pigeon. We're going to have 2 very, very different pigeon dishes. Can't wait to see which one is the best. Time's up.
Scott has sous vide and then fried his squab pigeon breast and served it with a ras el hanout pastilla, pickled beetroot and puree, apple balls and an apple gel. It is finished with a pigeon reduction.
I think that's a very, very well presented plate of food. I think the colours are great. I love the fact you've left the ends on the little baby beetroots and you put the leaf on there.
If I have to find a negative, it would be, you know, trim these bones up to the absolutely perfect and spotless. But otherwise, it's a very good looking plate of food.
Thank you. I'm always a little bit unsure of chefs that take a bird like a pigeon and put it into a sous vide bag. But as a chef, I understand the process and the reasons as to why you've done that. It's to get the consistency in the cooking. You've achieved the goal of getting a very well-cooked pigeon breast, and it's lovely, consistent colour all the way through. The flavour that's missing from the carcass is now in the sauce. So I'm so pleased it's actually back on the plate. I like the pastilla. I like the idea of doing something different with a pigeon leg and creating almost another little dish. I think it's great flavours. I really, you know, Scott, this is you at your best.
The pigeon, for me, it's wonderful and pink. I like the fact that you took it out of the backpack and then roasting it in the pan to impart some of the roasting flavours in there. The garnish works very well, the freshness of the apple, the cooked beetroots that only look really stunning, they taste amazing. Your pastilla, it gives the balance of texture with the pastry. And I like that the ras el hanout is in there. I'm a huge fan of ras el hanout. I would have just, you know, chopped the ends off so it didn't look so rough as that. But that's me being picky on your dish.
Thank you. I think you would have had a complete dish there if you'd have just trimmed up those bones and just cleaned them down a little bit. but the dish together as a whole, good job.
Thank you.
Scott is serving his white chocolate panna cotta with elderflower jelly, pistachio cake, pistachios, and an elderflower sorbet.
Presentation on a whole, no, I'm not a big fan of how this dessert looks. I think you had a wonderful cake there. You could have done it more justice in having a wonderful wedge of cake. For me, it's not the dessert I was expecting from you.
Okay.
When I see white chocolate on a menu, I always expect it to be sweet. That is what you get here. What you've achieved here with the panna cotta, I think, is very, very good. Not only have you got the white chocolate flavour, you've also maintained that beautiful texture of the lightness of the panna cotta. I think the pistachio cake worked very well. When you eat all of them together with that sorbet, wow, does it work. Because the balance is right, the sweetness is right, and the lovely acid of the elderflower sorbet and the freshness of it. And right at the very end, you get the perfume. Because that's what elderflower is. It's a beautiful flower perfume, and that's what you were looking for, and that's what you've got.
Thank you.
I can always find fault in the sense that I would like you to have done something more with the pistachio. I don't understand why you've taken the top of the cake off, because I actually quite like the crust. I think it adds a little texture and a different colour.
On its own, it's a very sweet panna cotta, and you definitely get the hit of white chocolate. When you have the sorbet with it, you can see where you were going with the marriage of the two flavours. It is quite nice. The cake, for me, is the star on this plate. It's light and moist and spongy, and you can taste the pistachios. It's a shame for me you've also taken the crunchy bit of it, because it needs more texture when you're eating a panna cotta. The pistachios, for me, doesn't bring anything. Your elderflower jelly, very strong, and I like the sharpness you get from that. I think you sort of just got the right amount of the sharpness and the sweetness in that dessert. I like what you've done here.
You get that kind of feedback from stuff that I've thought about and I've created. Yeah, I was shocked, just a bit gobsmacked when they were talking about it. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for any more.
Sven's main course is roasted squab pigeon breast topped with smoked oats, served with confit potato, lovage, and with salt-baked turnips, and a pigeon sauce, accompanied by confit pigeon leg, smoked with woodland scents.
I love your presentation, Sven. I think it looks stunning, it's eye-catching, it's modern from a chef who cooks in a very classic way. It's put a twist on your classic cooking, and then I think you've done it justice here.
I'm going to be intrigued to see if the flavour of the smoke comes through.
Sven, I love the sauce, and I love the fact that the innards or the livers and the heart that are in there are not overcooked. It's full of flavour, wonderful shine on it, and for me brings the dish together. The pigeon, wonderful and pink. Fondant, very soft, cooked properly. The salted turnip, for me, yes, you can take the salt, but I think you could do with a bit more cooking. The leg, for me, wonderful and tender, confit down like that. So I could do with a bit more of that smokiness through it. Sven, the cooking method you've used here, very impressive. Your sauce, the pigeon, you know, and the ideas that you've got presented in a very modern fashion.
The cooking of the pigeon is bang on. It's absolutely great. You've cooked it on the crown, which I love, and you've also managed to get a big flavour as well. The sauce is big of flavour, and it is beautiful shine, and you've just enhanced it with the thickening agent of almost of the innards, but you've also imparted a huge amount of flavour of pigeon, which is exactly what we're looking for. Great flavours, big flavours as well. You've all the way through the competition, Sven, you've hit us with big flavours from very little bits and pieces that you can find, and you've done that. I like the dish a lot.
For his dessert, Sven has made his interpretation on a Paris breast, puff pastry, topped with praline crème pâtissière, and choux buns filled with creme and topped with caramel and sugar, and garnished with caramelized hazelnuts.
I like the flavours of the praline. The pastry underneath is cooked very well. The choux pastry it's okay. The noisette flavours coming very well through the creme pâtissier. And I love the bitterness of the caramel as well coming through at the end. The caramel is a lovely flavour that cuts through this dish. I can see where you're going with this idea, and I was hoping that you would just raise the Paris-Brest to just another notch. I don't think you have, but it's not a bad dessert, nonetheless.
Sven, I think it's delicious. The puff pastry with the sugar, I love it cooked like that to the point where it's almost very dark brown. So you've got that unexpected extra crunch that you need. Your creme mousseline with the praline is wonderful. It's light, it's creamy. I could eat that by the bowlful. Your little caramelized choux pastries, for me, are wonderful. A tad on the heavy side because they haven't lightened and they haven't risen as they should have. But overall, it is a delicious plate of Paris-Brest.
It tasted nice. Like, I knew the flavour, especially the dessert. It's fine, it's nice, but you can't just make something that tastes good and then just throw it on a plate. But I don't know, we'll see. And yeah, my fingers are still crossed.
Chefs, wow, thank you. It was such a pleasure to see two chefs going head-to-head cooking some really, really good food. But Monica and I've got a very, very tough decision to make here. You two are so close today.
We've got some talking to do, so off you go, have a rest. We'll see you soon. What a great day it is when we see our chefs rise to the occasion, rise to the test. And we're going to have a very difficult judging time here. Our two chefs, both of them have made squab pigeon dishes.
To be honest, Monica, I love both these pigeon dishes. I love the theatre of Sven, and I enjoyed the eating of Scott's pigeon.
Scott's dish, I did enjoy it. It was cooked in a sous vide bag.
Very safe thing to do, and it keeps the cooking of the pigeon absolutely perfect. But you do lose that sense of roasting when it's not been cooked on the bone.
He didn't do much to that pigeon, so you should have taken some time and really trimmed those bones down so they look absolutely perfect and spotless on the plate. Sven also cooked a pigeon, but he cooked it the classic way, roasted it on the crown. It was wonderful and pink.
That's the way Pierre would have liked it. That's the way I like it as well. You could taste that flavour.
Sauce-wise, both of them made great sauces. Scott's sauce was tasty, but wow, you put Sven's sauce next to Scott's sauce, and for me, it blows it out the water.
Strong, powerful sauce. The innards enhanced that sauce so well, it was delicious. Sven's was a heavyweight dish, Scott's was a middleweight dish. It was good, but Sven's is the one that packed the punch. I liked Scott's dessert. I liked the presentation. I thought the elderflower and the sharpness of the sorbet really counteracted the sweetness of the panna cotta.
I enjoyed Scott's dessert, but I just wasn't blown away by it. The scattered pistachios on the top just seemed sort of careless to just finish it off that way.
I don't think it was his best dessert, but I did like his dessert today.
I really don't want to go home now. I think that I rose to the occasion and I want to keep going more now. I think I've got that bit of self-confidence back and that I can just keep going and rise up to the challenge again.
Sven's dessert didn't look that great, but for me it tasted like a delicious Paris-Brest.
I love the idea of taking a classic and putting the twist onto it.
You got the praline in there, the crispy puff pastry with that sugar that he had in the oven, and the wonderful caramel on top of those choux buns. I thought it was delicious.
I tried my best, but I just made some mistakes, which was, yeah, it's really annoying. It's just really annoying. Could have been so much better. I'd love to stay. If I got through to the finals week, then it'd be amazing.
This is for a place in the finals week. Which one of these two chefs can you see going through to win this competition?
Guys, that was a really tough decision, really tough judging, very hard to split the two of you. But we have made a decision.
The chef going through to finals week is Sven.
Just a bit gutted. I'm pleased that I had a good day today, and they were impressed with what I did. It's just a shame that it wasn't enough. It's boosted my confidence a lot, and never lose focus and never lose your ambition. It'll always get you places.
Well done. Surprised?
Yeah, really surprised. Honestly, thought I'd cook myself home today. Thank you. I'm absolutely over the moon. It's an amazing feeling.
I think that's well deserved. Well done.
Well, I'm in the final now, so yeah, I'd love to win it.
Tomorrow night, 2 more contestants will battle to stay in the competition. 34-year-old Luciana and 31-year-old Brian will be going head-to-head under the gaze of the legendary seafood chef, Nathan Outlaw.
You can do that every time, we'll be laughing. It's just like a wall of heat, like I'm just drenched, it's so hot.
They will then compete to impress Marcus and Monica with their own dishes.
That would have been a 10 out of 10 in my book if you'd just got that spice a little bit higher.
But only one of them can win a coveted place in the finals.